visitors this morning. We're so happy that you joined us. And we'd love to get you any information that you'd like about our congregation. If you haven't already, please stop by the newcomer table at Robinson Lounge. It's just outside those back doors, so that we can add you to our e-list and invite you to all of our different programs that are happening here. One of which is this Friday, our Rainbow Ministry will be gathering to view the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the iconic 1975 film that begins on a dark and stormy night and ends in a mysterious mansion. It is a film that is rated R, kind of, understandably so, and sometimes involves audience participation. Rainbow Ministry provides the popcorn and leads the discussion afterwards. That is this Friday at 7 p.m. in Haas Theater. All are welcome. Also, there's been interest in starting a men's group here at UU Princeton, a group that gathers for connection and service and fun. Folks interested in being a part of creating that group are invited to gather and talk before worship on Sunday, September 8th at 9:30 in the Founders Room. Not next Sunday, but the one after that. Mark Rubenstein is coordinating these efforts, and if you'd like to reach Mark with ideas, just check happenings for his email or contact the church office and we'll connect you with him. And also on September 8th, we will gather after worship to learn about various nonpartisan voter registration efforts that many of us are already a part of, including the denominational push, which is called UU the Vote. Democracy is an important value and practice in our faith, and the upcoming election is a time to nonpartisanly promote participation in voter engagement. That's a lot of P's, and I read that statement. Nonpartisanly promote participation and voter engagement. That is September 8th after worship right here in Channing Hall. And again, if you're already working with a different group, many of us are, we just don't know, please do bring that information to share at that session. And finally, we have been honored to host some of the Buddhist monks of Daemun Shartse all week. They've offered an opening meditation session, created a beautiful mandala all week that we were invited to view, offered dharma talks, and today we'll spend time with our young people doing butter sculptures. They have generously offered gifts of joy, peace, depth, and connection, and we are so grateful for how you shared your culture and traditions with us. They will also be joining our Zen group for their usual fourth Sunday chanting and discussion program after the service today. So head on over to Haas Theater after worship if you'd like to be a part of that. All the money raised during their visit will go to support dormitory construction in India, and that includes anything you purchase at your tables out in Robinson after the service today. And I'm pleased to welcome Dawa to the pulpit to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We are honored to be here, and we are very grateful, feel very grateful to see you all, and I would like to say thanks to this congregation church to invite us to share our precious knowledge which we learned around more than 30 years in the monastery, and I would like to say thanks to all your support and all your love and care, and then I would like to say that don't forget to set your life as a meaningful life and improve your life every day. Improve your wisdom through the gain more knowledge, improve your compassion mind, improve your love, and nobody can disturb you if you keep improve your love and compassion mind. And you don't need to be pray for the paradise in your next life, because if you improve your life in this life, then you can create paradise in this life. So we have hope and believe in yourself and do your best every day, and your life will be definitely happier, your life will be definitely peaceful. Thank you.
sacred hour, grateful for those who've come, welcoming one another today, and building the faith that will embrace those tomorrow. Let us be together for the peace of deep breaths, the joy of shared smiles, and the beauty of voices raised together in song. And as we do this, we join in spirit all congregations of our faith who also gather to praise the good, to care for one another, and to serve the world. Come, let us worship together.
Love yourself first, and everything else falls into line. You really have to love yourself to get anything done in this world. Lucille Ball.
Our meditation this morning is a variation of the metta meditation or the loving kindness meditation, which comes to us from Buddhism. Let us close our eyes and take a few deep breaths. Each breath a little deeper than the last, and each exhale a little fuller than the last. And as you breathe from the top of your head to your face and neck, think relax. Relax your shoulders and arms. Relax your hands and fingers. Fill your lungs with air and relax your chest. Let your stomach relax and your hips and your legs and your feet. Wiggle your toes and then let them relax. And for your head and face and neck, your shoulders and arms, your hands and fingers, your lungs and chest and back, your belly and hips and legs and feet and toes, your whole body. Hold in your heart gratitude for this meeting place of earth and stars that is uniquely your home and uniquely yours. And say to yourself, may I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be loving. May I be kind. And holding in your heart the presence of someone you love, say to them, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be loving. May you be kind. And holding in your heart a stranger you saw yesterday or the day before in the store, on the street, say in your heart to them, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be loving. May you be kind. And holding in your heart someone with whom you're angry, say to them, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be loving. May you be kind. And as one with our hearts beating and bodies breathing together, let us wish to all beings, may all be happy. May all be peaceful. May all be loving. And may all be kind. And here in the silence of this shared space, we offer these, the prayers and meditations of our hearts. May it be so, and amen.
About a year and a half after having my daughter, I began to feel, for lack of a better word, off. I had suffered from depression since my 20s, so I knew how to recognize the signs of a depressive episode. But this was different. I felt extremely anxious and like I was teetering on the edge of a crisis. I would wake up every morning with existential angst that wouldn't dissipate until the afternoon. After a few months of this, I had what is best described as a nervous breakdown and found myself first in the emergency room and then in an intensive outpatient program at a mental health facility. For 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, For 6 weeks, I participated in different kinds of therapy: group therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, art therapy, pet therapy, exercise therapy, dance therapy. Ugh. I believe the doctors at the facility correctly diagnosed the issue as delayed postpartum depression. And both they and a team of amazing therapists helped me get through it and taught me skills to deal with future depressive episodes. One exercise they had me do was to make flashcards with affirmations and mantras that I can refer to every morning and take on the road with me when I travel. These flashcards have made a huge difference for me, especially when I need a reminder that I am a person worthy of love and deserving of happiness. I'd like to share some of my favorites with you today, just in case any of you need that reminder as well. So the first one is, be patient with the process. When I first met my stepsons, they were 4 and 9. I had only ever experienced kids tangentially up to that point. I was 38 when I met them. So becoming an Instamom was no small feat for me. I've always been the kind of person that throws myself into things 110%. So I went all out preparing fancy meals for them, buying them treats, and planning fun things to do with them. They were understandably wary of me at first. Who was this strange woman that was suddenly a part of their lives? So I had to remind myself to be patient and play the long game. The same was true when our daughter came along 5 years later. Once again, I had to give myself time to figure out the whole mom thing. This time, there were diapers and 3 a.m. feedings involved, but I figured that out as well. I just had to be patient. It's something I need to remind myself of every once in a while when I want things to happen immediately, when what they really need is time to develop and settle in. Second one, don't should all over yourself. Like many of you, if not all of you, I wake up most mornings with a to-do list that's a mile long. Sprinkled among the tasks I need to complete are the shoulds. I should exercise. I should meditate. I should clean out the garage. I should practice my violin. But when I don't complete the shoulds, I end up feeling bad about myself. What I need to remember is that no one is going to care if I don't clean out the garage. No one is going to get hurt if I don't manage to practice my violin one day, which leads me to the last one. I am doing the best I can. Why is it that I always give others the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the way they're living their lives and treating others, but I fail to do this for myself? My mom's mom, for example. She was a very difficult person for many reasons, but I honestly believe she was doing the best she could. I fail on the daily, whether it's getting snippy with my husband when it isn't necessary, or it's eating gluten when I know darn well I have celiac disease and shouldn't touch the stuff. Somehow, when others fail, I'm able to let it slip, but not when I fail. I have to remember that I, too, am doing the best I can. We are all doing the best we can in any given moment. I have about 20 more of these flashcards, and it takes me about, I'm not going to do them right now, I promise. And it takes me about 2 minutes to read them each morning. They're 2 minutes very well spent. So as much as I don't recommend having a nervous breakdown, I highly recommend making some affirmation flashcards to help get you through your day, to remind yourself that you're worth it and you deserve your own attention.
I have one quick update. The Rocky Horror show is on Saturday, not Friday. That's my mistake. When I was in school, Rocky Horror was a Friday thing. It's here the faithful few gather to do the time warp on Saturdays, not Fridays. Everything else is the same, and we'll e-blast that out. You'll get notice of it this week. Not long ago, I was enduring one of my least favorite outings, which is getting my teeth cleaned. It's not that I don't like dentists, although my association with the field was indelibly marked by early exposure to Steve Martin's portrayal of an evil dentist in the film version of Little Shop of Horrors. The dentist is a villain in that film, a sometimes comic villain who can sing and dance, but a villain nonetheless. And when a plant eats him alive, we all breathe a little easier. But being a preacher, I know that one should not judge a profession based on film portrayals of that profession. There are plenty of sinister minister shows and films out there. So it's not dentists that I don't like. Mine seems nice. It's the teeth cleaning that I kind of hate. Though it'd be necessary and healthy, just not something I enjoy. And so I've learned that when it's happening, a simple mantra helps. A simple all will be well helps. That's a paraphrase of a saying of Julia Norwich, a 15th century anchoress in England, who was looked to for spiritual guidance in the time of the Black Death, which was a plague that killed as many as 50 million people, making it the most deadly pandemic in history. Everyone was worried about that or the various deadly uprisings that were turning the world upside down. And she had these mystic revelations in which God told her that all shall be well. And so she wrote that down, and she wrote, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. The quotation is attributed to her because she wrote it, but she said she was just relaying God's message to her in her visions. To frightened people worried about death by disease, repression, or revolution, she conveyed that all shall be well. And the reason for that wellness was God's love. In the end, God welcomes and holds all. Though people don't do that, and sometimes even nature works against it, God's love never fails, she taught, and all shall be well. Which makes me feel a little weird about repeating that mantra during something as routine as a teeth cleaning. The stakes for me are not very high as my dentist scrapes away. I'm in her very capable and caring hands in those moments. But it's still what I do, modifying all shall be well to all will be well, because this sounds a little more active to me. I also like to remind myself of will, which has something to do with agency and attitude, which involves choices made and approaches adopted and reflects the will one takes into all manner of things. Shall invites faith, but also observation as though something shall happen. Will seems like something I should get involved in. Will and its use to offer clarity and direction was a staple of Stoic thinking, exemplified by Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor of the 2nd century, whose work Meditations built on centuries of earlier Stoic thinking and came to kind of define it. The philosophy mostly promotes self-control over emotions that might lead us down the wrong paths. It usually doesn't say to be unemotional, although it's sometimes portrayed that way. And indeed, some adherents do coach that. It also usually doesn't say to suffer silently through all pain and to tough everything out. Although it does say that many things that in the moment might seem overwhelming can, with time and thought, be handled and moved beyond. But mostly it's about naming and pausing before the emotion so that it doesn't make the choice for you. That pause allows us to understand the inner bliss or turmoil of the body and in the moment that might not be the best deciding factor of the choice before us. You find that teaching to pause in spiritual disciplines, from contemplative prayer to confession to mindfulness and to mantras. You find it in parenting when kids are melting down and you try to get them to just take 3 deep breaths. You find it when a friend is about to lose it at a party and you take them for a walk. The idea is to exercise mindful self-control over our choices so that they're intentional, which doesn't mean they're always the right choice to make, but it means we are exercising our will, our agency when we make them, and so we have no one to blame but ourselves. And for Aurelius, this could be proactive as well, as one of the things he wrote was to assign yourself epithets that would remind you of who you are or who you seek to be as you move through life moment to moment. Epithet derives from the Greek and means to put on or to add. Catherine the Great is an example of an epithet. Wayne Gretzky, as hockey's the great one, is one as well. So is Nate the Great in Ted Lasso. They can be positive or negative, as when someone uses an insulting characterization of another person or group. They can be racist or sexist or homophobic. They can be used to attack, to demean, to press upon one or a group a sense of inferiority or lack of worth. In moral terms, religious terms, terms of sin and grace, language can always lift up or tear down, abuse or heal, and epithets are no exception. But what Aurelius was writing about was to assign one's self epithets that define who we are and who we wish to be, to think of a few words, 3 or 4, that make up what we think of our character and our morals. He believed that as we name and affirm these qualities, we will simultaneously live more fully into them. They're both descriptive and aspirational. It wasn't simply an act of affirming qualities, it was a practice to also grow them within us. It was a prompt to name and write down these important things about ourselves when we're peaceful and at ease. For doing so would ingrain them in who we are so that they would guide us when things are not peaceful and things are not easy. If we repeat courageous and loving, courageous and loving, courageous and loving, we will develop those qualities within, even as we rely on them in the moment. Something like water nourishes the seed to grow, or a parent celebrates the strengths of their young. The ways in which we positively help others grow are the ways in which we can positively grow ourselves. And for Aurelius, a simple practice of encouraging that was to write down a few qualities about ourselves that we like, that we want to be known for. Think of that for just a moment and start with just 2 in your life. 2 positive words that reach for both the center of who you are and the expression that you are becoming. 2 of your gifts, your strengths, and your virtues. 2 words. I'll give you 15 seconds to think about that. And now do the same thing in your mind for someone you love. 2 gifts, just 2. Strengths, 2 virtues, qualities of their character that you appreciate. Again, 15 seconds. Now, for some of us, the second exercise was easier than the first. It may have been easier to assign positive qualities to someone we love than to ourselves. And so the learning there is to learn to love ourselves enough to be comfortable naming our gifts, our value, our character, and our worth, and to name them in abundance. For I imagine that even if it was easy to come up with 2 things we like about ourselves, it was challenging to only come up with 2 things about the people we love. We may top out our list at 4 for us and go well beyond 40 for the people we love. And so the growth is to love ourselves enough to name our blessings, our strengths, what we offer one another in the world, so that we will more automatically lean into those strengths, even as we further build them up. Fans of older Saturday Night Live will remember Stuart Smalley's self-help drenched expression, "I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me." I laughed at that for years for being so sappy, and it was, before I realized the health and wholeness in that expression. Sure, it was funny, but it's also a really good way to live. To affirm oneself, to not wait for anyone else to do it either, to know who we are, who we wish to be, and name it and claim it even as we keep chasing it. Stuart Smalley was stoic in those moments. He was naming his epithets with healthy pride and using them to find balance when the world seemed like it might overturn him. If I were writing those skits today, he would have a group of people cheering him on as he said it. And this practice can grow into broader mantras that we can repeat to help us through other times in life. Maybe not just about our own qualities, but other approaches and teachings like all shall be well, a sentiment I keep written down on a piece of paper in my wallet. And it still says shall because that's how I wrote it many years ago and it served me well. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, which is another thing I say to myself as one who often wants to tinker with things in ways that end up making them not work as well as they used to or not at all. Sometimes it's best to just leave it alone, whatever it is, and let it be well. And in the repetition, there remains Julian's claim of centuries ago that God is love and never fails. Julian was not a universalist. We didn't really exist in her area at that time, but that is a universalist claim, one that our forebears made, that in the end, love wins and so all shall be well. And that theology, that assurance, was meant to help people live in a greater spirit of love during their lives. And that would be known by the fruits of their faith. by how early American Universalists fought for the abolition of slavery earlier, and certainly more vocally than many other denominations. The same was true for gender equality and suffrage, for children's rights, for labor, for the progressive edge of faith and politics in whatever era we're exploring. Universalists living in that assurance, that definitive teaching that led to this growing aspirational faith in which the supreme is all love, no hate, all embrace, no punishment, all joy, no pain, all peace, no war, sought to build a world of those fruits and in that image. It was not for them, our ancestors, a world that would one day just come about. It was a world they would build day by day, moment by moment, in how they lived among neighbor and stranger. That faith informed how they voted, how they organized, what they worked on, and with whom. It was a belief in the power of love expressed in the faith that guided them in building a world that better reflected that goodness, and in many ways, they did it. In many ways, Universalists changed America and religions in America for the better, not leading to perfection, of course, but helping lead to something more perfect than what would have been. That sort of work is never over, however. And so we are to do what they did, in our words, through our lives, affirm the centrality of love, the importance of love, the enduring blessings of love, and then water those seeds of affirmation with sweat and effort so that they grow into fruits for all to eat. We are to grow the faith of love that feeds others, particularly in a world that too often serves hatred. We are to grow hope in times of pessimism, and belief in times of cynicism, and unity in times of division, and justice in times of oppression. And this takes things like courage and strength and faith and vision. It takes naming them and claiming them, writing them as the epithets of our faith in this day and age. It takes not being battered by the winds of this news cycle or that one, not being overtaken by the worst that could happen, and instead being centered in the will and agency that we can exert our blessings on the world around us. And not only that, but bless those to come. Our work today will crack foundations of inequality and the lack of opportunity that generations to come will completely knock down. We see that pattern in history. And it's a position we have to claim today with clarity, even as we grow into the enormity of what that demands of us. For it demands that we use our voices, our shared power, our courage and love and hope to make sure that all will be well. It demands that we do all that we can do to shed eternal love upon this world. May we do so together with faith, with strength, and with a great and powerful shared sense of will. May it be so, and amen. And at the end of our hour, we extinguish our chalice, knowing that its light carries us until we gather again. Go forth grateful for the moments before you, the breath within you, the people among you, and the Spirit guiding you toward lives of love and kindness. And go forth knowing that you are held always and always with everyone else by that great love of never ending and it's always beginning. Go in peace, and amen.